Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. You know what time it is. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie is The Glass Castle. I didn't even have it on my list, even though it had Brie Larson in it, who I think is a terrific actress, and Woody Harrelson. So let me read to you what the synopsis is for this one. A young girl comes of age in a dysfunctional family of nonconformist nomads with a mother who's an eccentric artist and an alcoholic father who would stir the children's imagination with hope as a distraction to their poverty. That's all I know. So 7.1 IMDb, 49% Rotten Tomatoes critics, but 75% Rotten Tomatoes users. So the users like it, not so much the critics. It's based on a true story, and I think there's also a book that I will never read. But maybe you have. I'm going to get into it a little bit and give you a little bit better synopsis than what I just read to you, but stick with me. Let's see where we go. Alright, it's over here. See you in a little bit. Hey everybody, time for a quick check-in here. We're at the 1 hour, 9 minute, and 27 second mark of The Glass Castle. So, it's Woody Harrelson and Naomi Watts are the parents, and then Brie Larson, who is one of the children in this family, and they started off with her in present time, essentially in 1989, but it's more fast forward, and it's more of her look back on her childhood. So she is recently engaged to somebody and doing well. He's a financial advisor or something like that, and she's looking back at her time as a child, where Woody Harrelson and Naomi Watts is their characters are her parents. She also has 2 other sisters and a boy, so there's 5 kids, 3 girls and a boy. That's 4 kids. 4 kids, not 5. But essentially, Woody Harrelson, the father, is an alcoholic and can't really hold down jobs. They move from place to place, basically squatting in certain places, and they don't go to school. They read books, and he tries to teach them just about life, essentially. So very non-conformist fashion. And Naomi Watts is basically just a stay-at-home or whatever mom, and goes along with this whole thing. So it's showing how they were raised, and the conditions that they lived in as they grew up. They flash into a little bit of Woody Harrelson's mother, and she watches them and what she's all about there. But you can see how it's really tough for her, and then it's Brie Larson in the future who's doing very well, and then reconnects a little bit with her parents to introduce them to her fiance. But they are still being nomads. They squatted in an apartment or an abandoned building in New York, continuing their ways of how they've been getting along throughout their entire life. So very interesting, and see where it goes. Now, recently, so far in the movie, or up to date where we are, Woody Harrelson decides to quit drinking after his daughter, who Brie Larson eventually becomes, asks him to quit drinking, and so he does. He goes through the trouble of quitting drinking and withdrawal and all that stuff, and then starts doing well for his family. So he gets a job, they get a new car, they're fixing up the house, everything seems to be going well. So I'm assuming that this is at some point going to take a turn, and he won't be doing so well, but who knows, maybe not. But that's where we are so far. They still found an abandoned house, that's what they live in, but they're fixing it up and making it more livable. So I'm going to get back to it. Hopefully that helped a little bit more with the synopsis. It's very similar to what they wrote, but I wanted to give you a little bit more insight. I'm going to get back to it here, and I'll check in again if something interesting happens. If not, I'll see you at the credits. See ya. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. Some little bit of criticism real quick. It was a little bit long. That's the only, I think, the big thing. Kind of reminded me of a little bit of Captain Fantastic, if you saw that one. Very similar feel to it. A little bit predictable, I guess. I mean, it's hard to say that when it's based on a true story. But evidently, Brie Larson's character, I think it's Jeanette Walsh, is actually the one who wrote the book. So she wrote the book about her life and growing up, and then which eventually became this movie. So interesting tidbit there. Some other things really quick to note. Some other actors that were and actresses that were in it. So if you ever watch New Girl, Schmidt was in it. He doesn't play Schmidt. He plays a little bit more of a serious character. But he was in it. And if you're watching Stranger Things, Season 2, not Season 1, Season 2, Mad Max is in it. She plays one of her young sisters when they go flashbacks to when she was younger. So interesting there. If you're not watching Stranger Things, you should watch it. I think it's pretty good. But enough about that. More back about this movie. I enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of like an emotional roller coaster. As I had mentioned, things are going, you know, the story develops and then things are going well, then things go bad, and then, you know, it comes out at the end as the whole premise of the story is her looking back on her life. She's doing well. She's looking back and has kind of left her family, but has minimal contact with them, and it's still crazy when she does contact with them. He is an alcoholic throughout most of the movie, and as you can imagine, that takes a toll on him, which could cause problems down the line, and you know, might, as you can think about, there might come a point where you might want to engage with him again before it's too late. So that's all I'll say there, without giving too much of a spoiler. But overall, I'm really just going to give it a 7. The acting was superb. I thought they were great. You know, Woody Harrelson, unbelievable. Again, I like he has a lot of range, I think, if you think back to the Cheers days and what he does now. Brie Larson, of course, she's an Academy Award winner. So, and Naomi Watts, she was very good in it as well. So I thought they did an excellent job. And you know, I always love movies based on true life or on a real story, and I also love at the end when they, you know, the aftermath, you know, and not so much of what happens after, that's all told in the movies, but they do a little bit of a home video and show, you know, the characters in real life, and I thought that I like that piece, and then they do a little bit of somewhat of you know, monologue or dialogue from the actual people. The Walshes, you know, so the son, he speaks a little bit, things like that. Nothing major, but, you know, it adds a little credibility to the movie as well. So I enjoyed it. A little bit long, but I think it's worth watching if you have the time and, you know, you think you're interested in a drama like this. I definitely suggest it. Don't run out and do it, but I thought it was very good, and I enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm going to give it a 7. So that's it for me. KimmelsIrishPub.com. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. All right.